I'm also fortunate to share my views and experiences which I acquired in the last 30-40 years in the domain of education, particularly in the field of tertiary education. Now the thing is, you see, there are two parts in this today's topic. One is technology, another is brain science. Now technology, it is not a new thing. Probably we coined this term later, but it was there from the dawn of civilization. How did we communicate with each other? At the earliest part of this human civilization, only by signals, only by physical gestures and all these things. We did not have language. This development of language itself is a technology. Because it's taxonomy, it's logic and all these things. That is similar. Some technological development. And if you see this entire journey of human civilization, this early men, they learned the language, then they tried to capture that language, and that also is another technology. How to capture that? If you look in the all historical evidences and documents, so many methods were there for capturing this language or expression or facts or wisdom or knowledge. One is painting on the walls. Probably you are all aware of Altamira's cave of Spain. Then graving on the stones. Then using stylus on clay tablets. And probably you have heard this discovery of library of Assyrian king Ashurbanipal. Thousands and thousands clay tablets were discovered there. You see, that was a painstaking efforts to write on a clay tablet with stylus, and many peoples were engaged in all these activities in Babylon, in all these ancient civilizations. They tried to capture the knowledge. And some areas became this hub of this knowledge because of the library and all these assets and all these resources. How that got destroyed, still it is uncertain. We do not know whether it was natural, whether it was man-made. Many instances are there, it was man-made, many instances are there, it was natural, but it was there, the knowledge was there, but it was confined. Confined in certain space, in certain place, and within certain people. Then in the previous deliberation, Gurukul system was there, was shown. It was there. But these did not have larger access. Only people from royal families, people who could afford, they used to go to these places to acquire knowledge. And some people, they used to take up arduous journey and travel to reach out to those places to acquire this knowledge. You have heard the stories of Yuan Sangs and others. Came from China, crossing the deserts, mountains, forests, and came to Nalanda for acquiring knowledge. So this was there. And afterwards, one technology brought revolution, that is this invention of paper. And then followed by invention of printing press. When the printing press was invented, multiple copies of all these resources were developed. Then it became more and more accessible. Establishment of all universities, then accessibility of education to common people, particularly female population. Women did not have that much access to knowledge and learning before that. Only after this Gutenberg's invention, printing press, it happened, and large numbers of copies of any particular knowledge repository in the form of books were developed. Then it became accessible. And then women also came forward to acquire knowledge. Now we have seen there are lots of changes. This, with the progress of civilization, with the progress, the development of technology, social pattern changed. Now, after these formal education systems was developed in India, if you look at this Indian classroom system scenario, it is mostly this designed and developed by British people. And what is the reason behind these education systems? Because you see, when the British came over here, our education systems from these Hindus, from Muslims, from Buddhists, they had that distinct presence and distinct utilities. And there were these jewels of knowledge at that time. Scholars were there at that point of time. And all these religions, Hindu religions, Buddhist religions, Islamic religions, scholars were there. All these, this modern science and all these things, that was invented either in Central Asia, India, China, and all these countries. Not in Western part. This all this initiation, mathematics, science, all these things. This initiation was here. After that, it was taken forward by these Western people, but because of this dint of industrial revolution, all these things. That is a different story. But the thing is this: if you look at the education systems which is being followed in India by and large in all schools and colleges, this has similarity, or this has a reflection of the military thought process. Why? Because why it is so? That because this designing of education systems was done after the First World War, the formal education systems, and those people who were involved in designing the education system, they belong to military. If you look at these systems, you see, classrooms is not like this. Classroom is, you have to sit in a row, like cadets. Commander stands here, and commander asks, understand? Then you have to respond, yes, sir. Understand? Yes, sir. This is one directional dictatorial education system which was followed, which was designed, developed. And then there is a story, probably all of you know, that by Hood Dispatch, this came to this India. That time, bringing people from Britain, Great Britain, to India to run the administration was cost prohibitive. Because 21 days was required for taking this arduous journey to the sea. And bringing those people also, they are costly. And sometimes coming out of this comfort of Great Britain, living their luxurious life, family life, and all these things, that was the British people who used to come over here, because of they all were human, because of these tremendous changes in atmosphere, countries of heat and dust, and countries of these native Indians. So their mental aberration used to take place. That is also a part of brain science. Why most of these people, we read the stories of their tortures, their all these activities, it is psychological. They left all this comfort, so they got place, their aberration took place in their mindset, and they used to derive pleasures out of all these abnormal exercises. And sometimes the matters were so intense that it reached to the British Parliament there, and these thinkers of Great Britain, they became critical of all these things. So that's why this Hood Dispatch, Macaulay was the first proponent of all these education systems. They started to bring education which is